For one day, the world only knew one thing. There was no sun, no rain, no joy, no hate. Only one name: Denzel Crocker. This elementary school teacher had the whole world bowing to his knees, all through the use of powers many considered a myth. However, the people of the world were unaware that this tyrant could have committed mass genocide without contest. Despite his powers having rules, the man found loopholes that made him the most dangerous fairy in the universe. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's wind it back a bit and explain what I mean. The Fairly Odd Parents was a cartoon created by Butch Hartman for Nickelodeon's Oh Yeah Cartoon segment in 1998. The series follows Timmy Turner, a typical 10-year-old kid that nobody understands, who happens to have two magical fairy godparents, Cosmo and Wanda, who grant his every wish. However, these fairies follow a set of laws dubbed the Rules, which governs everything they can and can't do with their magic. This isn't just a suggested set of guidelines, but a hard-coded set of laws that they are physically incapable of breaking. Should a fairy attempt to break these rules, their wand will fail with a comedic fart noise. The rules are in place to prevent children from breaking reality and making horrible decisions. Some notable rules are being unable to cheat in a competition, as seen in the episode Smarty Pants, where Timmy couldn't use a previous wish to become smart to win an academic competition. Another major one is not causing direct harm onto others, as seen in The Boys in the Band, where Cosmo and Wanda directly explain the restrictions of this rule, stating that they cannot be maimed, injured, beaten, or dead. Even the most powerful fairy in the universe, Jorgen von Strangle, is incapable of directly harming someone through the use of magic, showing just how ironclad these rules can be. Now, on to our main man for this video, Denzel Crocker. Mr. Crocker is an elementary school teacher with a hunchback and an ear on his neck. He's also one of the only few adults who are aware of the existence of fairy godparents. This is all explained in the episode The Secret Origin of Denzel Crocker, where we learn that Crocker actually had Cosmo and Wanda when he was a child. He used their magic to be a hero of sorts, helping everyone he could. However, Timmy, when he went back into the past, accidentally revealed the existence of Crocker's fairies, forcing them to be sucked back to fairy world. This meant Crocker lost his memories, and subsequently so did the entire town, making everyone forget that he had ever done anything with magic. Heck, most of them even forgot who he was. This would have been it for Crocker, but just before his mind was wiped, he made the genius play to take a piece of Cosmo's hair and place it into a DNA tracker that Timmy had given him. This turned it into a magic detector, enabling him to track magical beings. He finished this plan by writing "Fairy Godparents Exist" on the back. After his mind was wiped, he found the scanner again, saw what was written on the back, and spent the rest of his life trying to track down what the machine was tracking, aka fairies. This obsession with fairies is what opened the door for him to rule the world one day. And that chance came on the day of Timmy Turner's Fairyversary, a celebration of Timmy owning his fairies for a whole year. As part of this celebration, Timmy was granted a magical Fairyversary muffin. This muffin does not follow fairy world rules and can literally grant any wish so long as someone eats a piece of it. It also does not discriminate who eats it, adult or child, human or monkey. Anyone can make a wish on this muffin. And this muffin eventually made its way into the hands of Denzel Crocker. Realizing just what he had in hand, Crocker took a bite and made what could be one of the most dangerous wishes ever spoken.
I wish I could capture a fairy godparent!
With Wanda's magic in hand, Crocker quickly went to his school to assert his dominance. But there was an issue. Crocker did not understand the rules, and when attempting to turn students into, quote,
bouldering pile of ash,
he instead made them into ice sculptures. This taught Crocker transmutation, a basic fairy art. Most infants can do something similar, meaning Crocker has no issue mastering it. Once he mastered it, he then proceeded to ramp it up to the entire world. The earth, its people, its buildings, all were made in Crocker's image. The people worshipped him, bowed down to him like he was a wrathful god, and in a way he was. Even Fairy World panicked and closed its borders from the earth, preventing almost any fairy from trying to stop him. This excluded Cosmo and Timmy, who managed to avoid Crocker's magic and plotted to stop him. This battle was Timmy's undoing, as it allowed Crocker to further learn and create a dangerous loophole. During their conflict, Crocker still attempted to use transmutation on Timmy, as it was the only thing he really knew, and he knew he couldn't directly hurt him. Then, after capturing Cosmo, he attempts teleportation and discovers just how versatile this skill can be. With a wave of his hand, he can send himself and others anywhere from deep space, back in time, even down to the microscopic scale. Crocker could just get rid of people by poofing them away. But that isn't the greatest danger Crocker devises. After learning that Timmy is in fact the one he's been fighting this whole time, Crocker warps himself to Timmy's house to torture his parents. There, he utters an absolute terrifying threat.
Now surrender, or I turn your parents into ice sculptures and transport them to the sun!
Crocker has figured out how to kill with fairy magic. By exploiting a loophole into rules, Crocker managed to do what no other fairy had ever dared to attempt. Genuine murder. With no other fairies to contest him, Crocker could just do the same trick on a massive scale, even a global one, with just a snap of his fingers. This isn't the only time the seemingly ironclad rules were exploited due to loopholes. In the episode Father Time, Timmy wished for heat vision at the beginning of the episode. Later on, he used that wish to win a foot race, which should be against the rules. This implies intention versus application when it comes to wishes. Timmy can't wish to be smart then immediately use it to win an academic contest, but heat vision doesn't inherently make you better at racing, so it's allowed. These types of loopholes are why Crocker became the most dangerous magic user in Fairy Oddparents history. Even more so than Professor Calamitous from Jimmy Neutron. For those who don't remember, in the second Jimmy Timmy Power Hour, when nerds collide, Calamitous ended up in Dimsdale as he followed Jimmy through his portal. After some shenanigans involving a gene splicer, Calamitous and Jorgen were fused together. Calamitous, using Jorgen's body, then attempted to destroy Jimmy and Timmy, but only turned them into snails. Again, due to a misunderstanding of the rules. While in his home dimension, Calamitous conjured the Big Bang Bomb, which supposedly would rip the fabric of reality apart, allowing him to reshape it himself. This should have violated the rules, but seeing as it wasn't in a universe governed by Fairy World, and since magic didn't naturally exist here, it's likely the rules don't naturally apply, allowing unrestricted access to magical power. Regardless, it took Timmy knowing more about how fairies work to save the day, despite the immense power Crocker wielded. Once Timmy revealed that he knew Cosmo and Wanda, they were forcibly sucked back to Fairy World just like when Crocker was a child, leaving him powerless. Well, almost powerless. Had Crocker not been in such shock over the loss of his fairies, he would have thought to use the muffin again, which he had stored in his chest plate. Sadly for him, this wasn't the case, and Crocker was promptly beaten to death by Timmy's parents. Okay, maybe not to death, but they probably wanted to. Fairy magic is immensely powerful, and incredibly dangerous. In the wrong hands, it can lead to devastation the world over. The rules are in place to prevent disaster and harm, but even the most well-thought-out rules have loopholes, and even the smallest loophole can lead to the worst outcomes. Should Crocker ever gain magic again, he could rule not just the Earth, but the entire universe, just with a wave of his hand. Thank you so much for watching. It really means a lot to me that you made it this far. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps this channel grow. Until next time, for the first and hopefully not the last time I can say this, I consider this case closed.